learn what Watertown stands to gain and stands to lose if its $3.4 million purchase of the golf course in Thompson Park goes through. 7 News reporter Zach Grady tells us the deal would mean the city is giving up revenues from both taxes and a lease agreement, but its proponents argue there is profit to be made.
The Watertown Golf Club sits on land that is half privately owned by Mike Lundy and half city-owned, with 9 holes leased to Lundy. There are 7 years left on that lease, worth about $10,000 a year. If the city of Watertown buys the course, the lease revenue goes away, costing the city around $70 grand.
That's an impact to the city that hasn't been negotiated, discussed. So all these people are saying these were negotiated. That you know, one could argue that's a gift by letting him out of that lease.
Aside from the lease revenue, there's more the city will lose. If the city takes ownership, the privately held land will become public and property taxes will no longer be collected. That would be a loss of roughly another $5,000 each year.
What happens in a tough fiscal year? Those are all decisions that are going to affect the future of the city. Those are things that have to be looked at for the future, not just the here and now, but down the road.
Altogether, the combined lease and tax payments make up just over $15,000 a year for the city, something it will no longer get if the deal is done. However, council members that want to complete the purchase feel that they can make up that money and more by running a profitable golf course.
We have, I think, 32 tournaments already scheduled that they had on the books from before, and each one represents about $16,000 to the club.
Cliff Olney is not the only member of council who believes the Watertown Golf Course can stay above water financially. In a statement sent to 7 News, Councilmember Lisa Ruggiero says, "I did my necessary due diligence by reviewing the detailed financial statements and meeting with the seller several times. I am very satisfied with all of the information and answers provided to my questions." Ruggiero goes on to add that Mayor Smith and Councilmember Sarah Campo-Pierce chose not to look at the financials. Meanwhile, Lundy is providing insight into how profitable he says the golf business could be. He says if the weather is right, the course can hold several tournaments, and managed well, the city of Watertown could make 8 to 10 times the amount it will lose in taxes and lease payments. There are other entities that stand to lose money if the Watertown Golf Club becomes publicly owned. Jefferson County will lose $5 grand a year in tax revenue, while the Watertown City School District will lose around $7,000 a year in annual taxes. Zach Grady, 7 News.